All right, gonna start the stream a little bit early, so then you guys can settle in, and let's see if notification actually works here. I think it might or might not work. There you go. Started early a little bit. So right now it's about like 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock is where some stagnation coming through in the market because they just can't keep ripping, right? I mean, of course, if it keeps ripping to all-time high, that's great. That's our prediction. But this previous Monday, I think, even last week we were talking about, hey, like all-time high is happening. I think last Friday we talked about like all-time high is gonna happen, like guys, but be careful with tapering news. And then this week, by doing some random financial analysis, I realized that, hey guys, it might be a very interesting thing to think about taper as a good thing actually. And like SPY is breaking through all-time highs and all-time highs. Actually, I should just stop talking and wait until you guys coming in. And I'll wait like most of you on Discord to come in and start like getting into today's content. We have about 4 or 5 main points I want to cover, and you guys should let's see, chat pop out, and ask questions, and you guys should vote on it. Like, what do you want me to cover? So one of the things I really want to cover is, sorry, I just have a trade notification. So basically, I set up my Python to hook up and then give me like random stuff when basically I'm doing stuff, and then it will tell me like certain price actions and stuff. You guys will have privilege to do that after I make that into an app. And I don't know why stream always have like a 30-second delay or whatever. And you guys should ask questions, and we are going to cover. So one of the things we're going to cover is we're going to cover the Pinterest PayPal takeover. I totally think it's the PV move. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. And then another thing we're going to talk about is about, people are asking about my Tesla play on this morning. Obviously betting on earnings, but also I have other reasons to do that. And we're going to talk about Pinterest, like this extreme movement, literally like, I don't know, I think that's almost like $10. So basically on about 1/5 for a semi blue chip stock to go up this much in one day will trigger a halt, which happens right now. And I think people are overreacting with the news a little bit, but we will cover that too. And we want to cover what happened in BTU. And literally, we're going to talk about why is it actually a very interesting idea to sort of start making some trades against all these future contracts drawdowns of coal. Because we're going to cover some information about what is going on in China, and then why is it important to keep your eye on the coal futures. And if you enter today or last night at a semi-okay price, maybe it's a better idea to wait until tomorrow to enter, but today I have trigger fingers, so I did. And also because there's a girl that I'm really interested in who went on abroad this year, decided to text me back somehow, and I get super happy. And when you find your muse and all kind of stuff, like, I get very happy and everything. And then you make some really happy calls, no pun intended. And we got a lot of really good plays lined up this week and including next week, including some of Google things, if you guys actually have the capital to place those kind of option plays. My plan is actually to host a stream on Friday to sort of have to draw it out extensively, so then you guys will see what do I mean by you can actually arbitrage on a Friday on big name stocks that will give you a lower cost basis but significant more risk. But who cares, right? If you risk $200 for $1,000, would you do that? I think most of you would do, right? And we're slowly entering phase 1 of our Patreon challenge. For those of you on Patreon, you know that I'm slowly making a profitable $100 challenge for you guys, and that should be very interesting to see and to talk about, to think about. And slowly we're gonna put some data stuff going on, and I will share some data with you over on Patreon as I started to set up for most of the things. Because like master's program, honestly, most of it is wasting time. I only find one class is actually super useful. Other than that, everything else is just what it is, and I will regurgitate it for you guys too, because I know some of you don't have a lot of time to go through master programs, and also like the tuition is extremely overpriced. I don't think it's never really worth it. So I'll just regurgitate, and you guys can learn about it. And just like the time management and time commitment issues right now really is sort of a problem-ish. But I will get that solved. And plus, young people always want to, go out and have fun. And for me, I just want a stable girlfriend who's smart, who can help me grow, that kind of thing. But again, it's really hard. And as you can see, most and all of everything on the watch list is literally green except for like 1 or 2. But again, those bank stocks, we had it like October 7th. So you can ask re-up again in Patreon. You will know that we started composing a list of regional banks that we think will go up. I started filtering through them. I just don't have time to really like go through them and tell you guys about it. But most of them, starting from the day one when we put them in the list, it's already increased by about. This one is already increased by $4. Think about it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically, in a week or so, it increased about $4. And again, like on Patreon, we start stressing about if you guys believe that tapering is happening, start loading up on banks, right? I'll cover the reason in the video, and I'll cover the reason shortly in this video when I think most of you are settling in. I think all of you are settling in right now. You guys should ask questions, because there's some very interesting stuff I'm gonna explain, and I anticipate you guys will have questions. Hey, morning. What's up? What's up? How do I even pronounce your name? Is it Earl, or do you have a Norwegian name that I can call you? Place a bank wire today, so hopefully I will be able to play with options next week. That's awesome. Hey, what's up, dude? Zero. My brain is totally empty today, so don't have any questions today, so I will leave it up to others. Yeah, ask questions. It's very important to ask questions so you guys can learn, and also spread the news that stream is going on. And we might spot some really good things, and we're going to talk about where the market is generally moving. I do believe that the market is gonna go to all-time high, and then it's gonna have a temporary contraction. This is literally like setting up for it, right? Like at this point, we're thinking, oh, maybe it's a bull trap rebound, and then we have a huge liquidity gap, and then second day, people are like, maybe not. Earnings is happening, so it will be great. And remember, like one of the things that financial firms are playing with us is this is what they did this year, okay? So remember that huge drop over like here, and over here, and over here. What it did is they literally just tell a lot of firms telling their financial firms, they'll be like, hey guys, like, hey, like I don't think earnings is gonna be as great as you expected, so why don't you lower expectations? So your earning forecast actually went through a shuffle. So earning forecast actually went down. But the interesting thing about consumerism and about consumer behavior over summer is, hey guys, like, when we see a bunch of hot chicks on the street, we start, spending more money on our wives and our girlfriends or whatever. For me, I'm single, right? I don't need to spend money, but for you guys who are dads, like spending money on your daughters, whatever. And then your consumption act will increase. Your consumption increase, which when your forecast decreases, consumption increase, your actual sales will actually increase. And guess what? It's more than likely to be the forecast. This is why this was happening. Okay. And the interesting about the bank talking about tapering, which I will cover in a video, and also I will cover shortly about this, is when tapering happens, you will see a significant revenue shift from the general service sector to the bank, to the financials. And again, big investment firms already foresee this. We're a little bit late on this just because I don't really want to make big quarterly commitments. Basically, you're throwing thousands of dollars there. And you know me, I have commitment issues except when the babe is actually really hot and really smart and that kind of thing. So then what they're really doing is, like right here, they started placing a huge amount of bank bets, and even here. If you go look at regional banks, you will see a bunch of CEOs even during the time it's going down, okay? Let me give you an example. Sorry, I have too many tickers going on. Oh, another thing we need to talk about is Verizon. We placed a short-term bet. Verizon's going to be $53. and we exited about 10 minutes ago. Should be really good. About I think I'll post it. Maybe I should post this trade on Patreon. Made about like 120% on one contract. Pretty nice, you know. Because yesterday I was talking about like, hey guys, I think 3 days ago on Patreon I even talked about Verizon. I think it has a really good earning potential, and I think the price target is at 54. Did I talk about this, or I didn't talk about the price target, but I did talk about it's gonna go up. Huge telecom stuff going on with right now. A lot of telecom companies are placing on 5G infrastructure bets. They want to build a bunch of like infrastructure shit going on, and then I do think it's really great. For those of you who are interested in this thing, our entry point is around right now. Like right now, I don't think it's too late to enter right now. It should. I think earning happens after market or something. I think earning happens after market. Oh, earning happens like right now. I think this is very interesting. The price target for this is $800. Should be there in no time, because the semiconductor industry will have a small shuffle by the end of this quarter, which is the last quarter of the year. But most interestingly is like we all know that January there's gonna be a reset, and then most likely the reset happens Christmas. So we probably want to reap the profit after Christmas rally and sort of like start new a little bit January. But at the same time, you want to know that a lot of the semiconductor contracts are already filled, right? Like they're filled, they're basically overfilled for the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, something like that. This is why a lot of you are super bullish on metamaterial, which I think is way too early a little bit for the semiconductor component. And I do think semiconductor industry is a little bit undervalued right now as far as how the forecast is going to go by the end of 2021. So this stock, I highly recommend. I did talk about VZ, you not. Oh, you're Tech Junkie, you're not on Patreon. On Patreon, we basically talked about it like way before. So you see, on Patreon, we talked about, you can ask anyone who's on Patreon. We talked about on this day, on a dip day. We talked about it's a really good day to enter. Let me see, on the 18th. Yeah, on Monday. Yeah, on Monday. I would talk about it's really good to like enter at the money call options. I just happen to place a little bit more riskier bet because, I don't know, I'm just feeling it right now. And yeah, we're gonna talk about BBIG. Not Buffalo wins. So basically what we did today is I hop on Discord now on Patreon chat. Maybe I should hop on the main chat a little bit more. I talk about, hey, it's probably the time to hop on some like, you know, $7 call options, because yesterday after market we see a $6 movement. I will post this on a video too, guys, if you guys missed this one out, because this is one of those tickers that I think a lot of people are interested in. So yesterday on aftermarket, actually AM, I just say after, I guess. Sorry, after. So during aftermarket, what is interesting is dipped down to $6. But if you guys know, like, remember the BBIG video I posted that we were gonna short at, where was the shorting point? I think we were saying we should short it at like $13, and then we did, and then we dump it at $6. Remember that? And then we start loading up $6 call options over here, right? Because we do think $6 is pretty fair. So yesterday after market it dipped down to $6. Too bad we cannot trade options in $6 after market. What is the most rational trade here is actually when it dipped down to $6, you start loading up on $6 leap calls. So then you will collect on a time premium, at the same time collect on all of the people who panic selling this morning, which it did happen, right? But what is interesting is the fair market value for BBIG right now is actually at $6.5. But the thing is, how the BBIG option chain was basically structured is there are costs for trading options. What you guys need to realize is MMs needs to make money. And how do MM makes money is by basically the higher differences of the spread, which is, do you know what spread is? Spread is the bid and ask difference, right? The higher the difference of bid and ask difference, the more money they will make. And then the thing is, due to the recent legislative changes in how the SEC trying to regulate the market makers, the only way they can make the bid and ask spread bigger is by making the option chain volatile. But they cannot manipulate the market, right? Quote unquote manipulate the market. So what they would do is when you have a very interesting aftermarket drawdown action, most likely when you know that the stock have a lot of trading volume recently, what will happen is it will have a quick rebound, which create a huge bid and ask spread, and they will make a lot of money. And the interesting is when they make a lot of money, they have to hedge the position. So the fair market value at 6.5 will reach $7. This is why on Discord I said, hey guys, if you want to make some quick money, start buying some $7 call options on BBIG. And one of you asked me, or like, hey, like DD, like should I buy for this week or for 5 months? It really doesn't matter, because if you buy it for weekly, you're betting on a short term. You're betting on a short-term upward movement to about 7 point. So this is you're literally trying to fill the liquidity gap, and then you're betting on a $7.5 by the end of the week. And obviously, because you're investing in a riskier option on a weekly, that means you will get rewarded even more, because when you enter today at 7, when I talk to you guys about it, it's very cheap, and then you will have a bigger leverage, right? Because the sellers are taking on your leverage. The sellers are taking on a risk right now. And on Patreon, I'm gonna talk about risk transfer a little bit by the end of this week. Keep tuned. This weekend, I'm gonna post a bunch of Patreon content, and I'll post some of them on YouTube when you guys already viewed it and commented on it when you're already on Patreon. And we're gonna cast a vote on Patreon about we're extending a $10 membership, because a lot of you are saying we should get more and more people familiar with our content and see our value. I totally agree. I actually totally agree, and I talked to my member to you about it. But because we're very fair people, we believe that all of you should vote on it. And simple, we should do 2/3 majority. And if all of you agree with this, then we are gonna proceed with the Patreon extension. Oh, you're on. Oh yeah, you're on Patreon. Interesting. Tell me about. Your Discord thing, so you can be on Patreon chat. Do zero really love people to talk on Patreon. And also, we were looking for people to manage the main chat a little bit, because main chat died down after we reeval some toxic people, and we're trying to promote our Discord on social medias, and we're gonna start an Instagram stuff. And I'm trying to, because I know like my viewership mostly are dads, right? We're trying to get some young people getting into here too, and I'm trying to sort of structure my way of talking about videos onto a shorter spectrum. Because remember last week, I know a lot of you guys are on here when I talked about like last week I meet up with VC. This week I'm gonna send my business proposal to him. Last week we have a very great chit chat because we know each other, like he's my mentor and all this kind of stuff. And this week I just want to take things slow a little bit. I will send him the business proposal, like business model and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things I talk about is I think what I need to work on is, I know a lot of you like long contents. Oh, you changed your name. Oh, nice. Yes, you are here. Yes, I know you are there for. Yeah, you're one of like the most like active members. Sorry, I actually don't know. Like you guys need to like give me some lines or dots to connect, where I know which you is who are you on Patreon, who are you on YouTube, right? And some of you actually changed, your avatars and stuff, and anyways, I'm getting a little bit digressed. So I talked to my mentor, and I want to take things a little bit slow. And one of the things we talk about is, okay, I'm very smart, right? You guys know, like you've been here for a long time. You know that I dig up some gems. I figure out information flow way faster than everybody else, and eventually, somehow, after I get my immigration status solved or whatever, then I'm probably gonna go work for one of the biggest firms or own my own fund for investment. And you guys are literally like my earliest investors in my journey of trading and all this kind of stuff. And I think what I need to work on in terms of content, giving out content, is I need to work on how to shorten my content, be more pithy and concise, and make yes, it's very mysterious, and work on making shorter videos and making like those burst videos. But for those of you who love long videos, I will still post them. I'll post them on Patreon. I'll post them on YouTube. So you guys can learn, right? Because a lot of you really want to learn how to fish instead of just getting fish from me. And again, I'm a little bit selfish on this one too, because I believe that if I teach you how to fish, and if you stay on here for a longer period of time, I can actually benefit from a lot of your stock picks, because I can only do so much research, right? Right now, I'm so focused on energy and banking. Like, there are other opportunities, like, let me show you some other opportunities I actually found the other day. For example, on hotels, LVS, okay? So LVS earning is actually like, I think yesterday or today or something. I think it was yesterday. So what happens for LVS is, we know that we're in a period of recovery. We all know that. And the interesting thing about the government is, the way how government operates does not attract smart people like in the 80s or in the 50s or in the 40s that people want to go work for the government. Nowadays, people are storming to private sectors because you make more money. And when you're making those forecasts, the government forecast is actually untrustworthy. So if you go look at government forecasts for hotel recovery, you will realize that, hey, like, those numbers are a little bit too high. And a lot of people are placing trades on that. What you're supposed to do is looking at how many people are willing to spend their vacations this year and where they're going to go. Vegas is one of those main attractions. And with real estate upward movement in Vegas and a lot of people flooding from California to Nevada because, you know, you don't need to pay as much taxes, which makes Vegas a very interesting, you know, place to go for a short-term vacation sort of destination. So if that happens, that means, you know, stuff like Vegas, Las Vegas Sands, and, you know, MGM, those kind of stuff is going to have a pull up during holiday seasons or during like vacation seasons. So all we have to do is to figure out, when is it undervalued? $35, very undervalued. I do think $40 is undervalued. I think the fair value of this by about January 2022, if taper doesn't have a huge impact on hotel industry, then it should be around $43. This should be the fair value there. But again, these are a little bit uncertain bets. But if we do believe that taper is going to happen, bank stocks are the stocks that you should get in. Why? Here's why. Let me see if you guys have any questions yet. Here's why. So we know that banks, there's a yield curve, right? So without getting into too much of the math, the federal government, so this is maturity. This is basically price, I think. No, actually the yield rate. The federal government trying to control, not really the federal government, they can't, the Fed. The Fed traditionally Fed control one thing, which is monetary policy. Monetary policy. And when monetary policy are dealing with, they're dealing most likely the nominal interest rate, right? Nominal interest rate. And what nominal interest rate do is, it has nothing to do with, let's just say, you know, very long-term T-bills, which including the 30-year, 20-year, 10-year, or whatever, which actually go on the long end of the maturity cycle. And then the nominal interest rate happens with short-term maturity cycle, right? Because when an interest rate rise, you will see a sharp increase in mortgage rate increase, and it happens in a very short period of time, because before they even raise the interest rate, the banks already have signals because they have to move assets around. So when we talk about normal interest rate, you're dealing with the short end of the yield curve. And then when you're dealing with like long end of the yield curve, you're dealing with the other end here. Okay, and traditionally the yield curve goes like this. But when the federal government decided to do quantitative easing, they're literally bending down the end, the telltale end. They look at this. So they're trying to get it to like, you know, y equals to, you know, there's just a square root of x, okay? Or something like that. But the interesting thing is, when they start to taper, that means the long-term telltale end is going to increase, go back to the normal. And guess what? When it go back to normal, that means the projection for mortgage rate would increase. And guess what? Who makes most money on mortgages? Banks. So you get what I mean here, right? Without getting into like the full mathematics of it, and then why I do think bank is gonna have a huge run when taper happens. Even though a lot of you are gonna be like, oh my god, like investment bankers already like, already priced that in. Not really, because for the majority of 2021, what really increased stuff like, let's make a example, JPM, right? I'm bullish on this as always. What really happens here is you see an 80% increase in trading revenue. You see an 80% increase in trading revenue, which if you do a discount, you will see that from the beginning of 2020 to right now, it should increase about 40%. Let's see if our hypothesis is right. So let's just take the lowest, let's just take 130, heck. $40 over 130. Again, I mean, I'm off a little bit. It's about 30%, right? But again, like, you get what I mean here. And this is not even one of the highest performing bank stock this year, because this is a hybrid. JP Morgan's a hybrid of a banking and investment banking. And guess what? When mortgage rate increase sharply when taper happens, that literally means is, hey, my trading revenue will also catch up. And if you look at their quarterly things, or if you look at their recent report, during this drop, a lot of people actually lost money. So then what happens is we reset our 80% trading revenue to about half of that, and then guess what? By the end of the mortgage rate increase and everything, and then investment banking stacking up on banking, that means, hey, IV will go back to this point. That means the 80% revenue increase is gonna go back to where 80% used to be. And then this time is when we exit most of our position and start buying some short-term shorts. Again, a lot of you will know in the next few months that our perspective of trading is a hybrid of Buffett, Cassie Wood. For those of you who know who Richard Dennis is, that's a lot of the energy stuff that we're talking about is from him. And we also gonna mix up some TPG valuation stuff going on, because I'm doing a lot of case studies of this and looking back into a lot of the PE deals. And also we want to mix in some old Chinese leverage. So those are the combination of how we form our trading strategy, and with superior macroeconomic understanding, microeconomic understanding, whatever, right? Take questions for a little bit. People are still flush with cash right now. Flush with cash means like they still have cash. Yes, they still have cash. But the interesting thing about when they still have cash is they have to figure out where to put their cash, right? So S&P should be a really good place to put, because again, we're going back to the yield curve, right? If the yield curve is getting less tempered by the Fed when quantitative easing stops, then that means US is going to become a bigger attraction to the broader international market. Because if you look at the long-term maturity bonds on an international stand, the international market is still operating on a negative interest rate. So US will attract a lot of investors. But it will, but don't get me wrong, you guys are like, oh, it's just gonna be on sunshine and rainbow. No, it won't. It will reach an all-time high, and it will do a contraction because people fears the taper. And again, taper only, one of the things you have to understand is taper only affects people that utilize debt a lot. If you are a company that doesn't have any debt, for example, right, one of those old-time big things that we talked about before is MMAT. The things that we ignore for the past 2 months is, all right, MMAT actually doesn't have debt. That significantly will boost its valuation when taper happens, actually. When people realize, I mean, of course, we'll have a short-term pull down. People like doing a lot of those like small cap analysis on certain things, and they're gonna be like, holy shit, like small cap's gonna hurt. Yes. Why? Because traditionally, a lot of small cap companies have a lot of debt. They utilize their debt instrument to leverage their equity. So by doing that, they take on less risk, right? And then when interest rate increase or long-term interest maturity, yield rate going back to normal, that means when they over leverage on their debt, they're gonna get hit. But guess what? MMAT doesn't have debt right now. They still have at least $50 million floating around there for George to burn, right? I mean, again, we're not long on the management team. We're long on the stock for. Remember, I still have 2/3 of the position, right? We're long the stock for basically the company or the idea of it or the retail group that are believing in this. And we will see a sharp increase in stockholder value when taper actually happens and people realize that they actually don't have any debt. And then this makes them a safer small cap investment than any other things. Compared to AMC, it still have debt, but if you look at MMAT, it actually doesn't have debt, which is a very interesting situation that people don't talk about on YouTube. Let's talk about a little bit about. I mean, I will end stream around 45 so just letting you guys know. Damn, you guys are talking about stuff on Discord. So the whole Pinterest stock surge, like PayPal is buying it, is because PayPal really need the marketing aspect of Pinterest. They're moving they're pivoting their business model, and plus they're flooded with cash, and they're one of the things to utilize their risk when they think market is gonna have a sharp reaction to certain monetary policy is they should do acquisition when stock is really cheap. So one of the things you need to understand is Pinterest is super cheap right now. I mean, the time that they decided to. So how acquisition works is before you acquire any company, right? Let's do a interaction, okay? One of the things that, what do you guys think, okay? The type of chat, what do you guys think before any acquisition or merger happens? What do you think the company is gonna do? Like, the acquire, what are they gonna do? Tell me what do you think is gonna do? So happy to hear your positive words about MMAT. Yeah, I mean, I've been always really positive. I told you guys I have leap call options. I'm not liquidating my leap call options. Like, they're just dumb. Just because I sell off my physical shares doesn't mean that I don't have stake in the stock. Again, like in 6 years it's gonna be $30. Like, why would I? If I can leverage my money a little bit, why wouldn't I? Invest in something that I do think is gonna be huge in about 6 years. I mean, I'm young, dude. Young people have money to like risk. I mean, for most old people, this is a really risky stock, and because a lot of information online are super whack, so people don't really understand what they're talking about. Raise cash. You don't raise cash. Good insight and good instinct. But the interesting is you don't actually raise cash. Well, because think about it, right? You're a big company. You can buy company in two ways. Okay. But bonus extra credit for those of you who get this right. What are the two ways that a company can or just tell me ways a company can acquire another company? Start typing right now. What are the ways that company can acquire another company? I'll give you like 2 minutes. Be right back. I need to put some socks on because it's getting a little cold. What are some ways that you guys think a company can acquire another company? Give me all of it. Extra credit for creative ideas. Ow, sorry. Good one. Shares. What else do we got? We have shares, or we can buy them by shares. Okay, what else do we have? Start typing, boys. I'll give you like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes to do that. While we're talking about this, let's look at a buyout or a mutual partnership. Yes, right now we're talking about buyouts, okay? So what are some ways that you can buy out a company? Yes, hostile takeover, but you're missing something, Charles. Like, what are, like, basically, like, the means the means of hostile takeover, right? What you can like directly like, okay, so I want to buy. So the situation is like this, okay. So right now, DD, right? We as a channel, we like this. I don't know. This stock called Smoke Show Inc. Okay, we like this because they make a lot of OnlyFans revenue or whatever. We like hot chicks. We did have to acquire this in a normal regular situation. We want to take control. When we want to take control on this company called SmokeShow.inc, what are some ways that we can do that? How do we see control of another company, right? We have Fastlane talk about we can buy them with shares, right? And you guys are talking about we're gonna do a buyout, mutual partnership. But the thing is, we want to take control of this company, right? Other than shares, what are some other ways we can achieve that? Like the most like direct way, guys. What is the most obvious answer, right? Merger is a good answer, but like you're missing the main point here. Like during merger, you buy them with shares, or you can buy them with what? In the accounting equation, there's three different components, right? So you have, guys, keep typing, dude. What are some other ways? Like, all right, hostile takeover, right? All of those kind of stuff. What are some other ways? Creative, extra points for creatives. Set up CEO with hooker and blackmail them. That's funny. That's really funny. You guys are missing the main one. Is you can buy them with cash, right? Yes, exactly. So loans, cash, or whatever. So accounting equations. There's only 3 accounting equations. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity, right? So you can either you buy them out by, well, if you buy debt, you don't see control. So when you buy debt, you're basically buying liquidation preferences during bankruptcy. So this is not for control. So if you're buying debt, you're not buying for control. You're buying for a safety net. You're buying safety net. When you buy debt, you're buying safety net. Because when you're buying debt, you're saying, hey guys, I think this company will make a profit. And then because I'm buying debt, they pay me interest every single quarter. I'm basically risking my money in an operation. Therefore, I need to get paid for that. This is where interest come from. But the thing is, you don't get control of this company. So what are some other aspects of the balance sheet? You have asset and you have equity. So you can buy them with equity, means you can buy them with shares, okay? And you can buy them with cash. This is the 2 most blunt way of buying a company. There are other ways, right? You go sleep with the CEO and just making lowball offers and all this kind of stuff. But we don't want to talk about that, right? Also, buyover time, if you have to do in payment, also you got what's so-called a earnout, where the selling partner will be paid over time with the added condition they stay with the firm for periods sustaining it. If we're doing an earnout, then that means the thing is the problem with an earnout. Okay, let's talk about earnouts. In reality, earnouts are usually get structured as a preferred share, a preferred deal. Okay, but the thing is, during preferred equity financing, what is interesting is you have a lot of risk because it's a customized security. You cannot compare it with other security because most securities are traded as commons, right? So when you're doing an earnout, you literally either the buyers are super confident or the buyers doesn't have money and then the sellers are desperate. Okay. Yes, buy all the shares. This is the equity method, right? You buy all the shares, you literally seek control. And if you seek, most of the time, if you want 51% of the company to seek control, right? Okay, why is it relevant to Pinterest? What we can do over the next few days is we can do a cash flow analysis, either on Patreon, on YouTube, whatever you want, right? Depending on how much information we have, we can actually figure out how much money, if PayPal decided to buy Pinterest, what is the justifiable price for PayPal to buy Pinterest? Is it $70? Is it $60? Is it $50? And we can also figure out the likelihood of this deal happening based on how much price you guys think they're willing to pay as premium. So one of the homeworks I want you guys to do after the stream is think about, if you're PayPal and you're buying Pinterest, other than the reason that when they decide to buy it, the actual information probably, before you do any mergers, you probably want to send a letter of content, really, an intent to tell them that, hey guys, like I want to buy you guys, so I want to enter this friendly merger situation. It's probably like around this day. You see this? This is where like some insiders would send some signaling coming out and they start buying, and people within the company might hear about certain things. I mean, again, there's some NDAs involved. The SEC cannot really trigger. BBIG is dipping. Oh hell yeah, BBIG is actually dipping. Time to buy some what is it called? To buy some $6 calls if they actually keep dipping. I'm ready. Just keep being informed, okay? Keep being informed on if BBIG dip to 6, we are gonna buy something. The most likely what's gonna happen is BBIG is gonna end up doing like this. This is what's gonna happen today, or more likely like that. And then, depending on how much short volume we have today, it's probably gonna go up a little bit more. And tomorrow it should go something like this. But again, pure speculation, right? And again, we're also banking on the SPY to basically reach all-time high by tomorrow. But you might see a temporary correction, which will probably bleed some of our options. We can either sort of roll them a little bit more, or we can do is, roll them a little bit more, and then basically you have a higher premium upside. I don't really want to like keep bugging on BBIG, because today BBIG went up to like what, 7.3 while we're talking about stuff, right? And then it drops a little bit because right now like the entire market is easing right now. If you look at any of these stocks, or you look at SPY, actually I'm actually really interested in Tesla because I do hold options. Damn, it's just getting. Tesla is also, people are waiting for the earnings. And again, trading volume is going to die down around this point. And this is where like a bunch of algos are coming in. And for you guys who want to have an update, I will make a separate video on Patreon or on here talking about, hey, like here are some updates on the algorithm that we're building. It's not really going anywhere really, because I've been reading so many books over the past few months, and I got so many ideas, and I need to test them out. So I might just build different script, and maybe I should just hand them out on Patreon and for you guys to try it out. And I will teach you guys how to set up, but that's for later because I need to figure out. I need to study more for the masters, so I can basically study before everything happens. And I found some dads. It's really interesting that I think dads just love me. So in my master's class, there's some dads there that needs help with stuff. So I'm trying to help them. Basically they rely on me now to teach them after class, really, about certain things. Another stock that we're gonna keep a close eye on is Texas Instrument. I think earning day is next week, but I'm pretty positive for this thing because I do believe that in terms of like how semiconductor industry is gonna perform, the stock's a little bit undervalued if it's under $200. And as far as the MMAT goes, let's just say $5 call options on the yearly is pretty nice. Yep. And slowly people's gonna realize that the reality for Mana Material is their acquisition play, I think, is a little bit too early, but because Nanotech actually have debt, so it's actually too early. They can literally wait it until they bleed out a little bit and then start buying them at a cheaper price. And then, with like equity balancing out with smaller goodwill, the payout in the long run is be bigger. But I guess one of the things that I don't really like management, I mean, again, I'm gonna talk about this on open stream, I guess, is it's not like really they're colluding, but they know this company way before. Yeah, Texas Instruments is an absolute beast. But going back to MMAT, one of the things that is a pattern for George is they like to make rash financial decisions without a consideration for, like, for example, like me, I love to buy things at a price that I really love, right? For George, they're like, oh my god, we just don't want to miss out, so we want to get in this as fast as possible. I don't think that's strategic. I think they really need a better finance development guy rather than a business dev guy, but that's just my opinion on this thing. So yeah, I'm back on the MMAT train, but for good reasons. It's not for bad reasons, like Reddit people hyping it up. We're getting our channel slowly. You will see like our entire following is gonna getting more technical and getting more finance oriented. So we're gonna go and look at their cash flows a little bit and do a traditional fundamental analysis, and then we're gonna set a price target for the beginning of next year. But yeah, this is basically a small update on MMAT. You guys will see more content for MMAT if you guys still in it or not. But we're shifting gear to more of a blue chip focused because I found that you can make more consistent return if you invest in blue chip stock, because we're option investors. We can literally leverage the entire market for our gains, and slowly we're gonna recover from our losses from MMAT, and we're gonna just make speculative plays on MMATs with small positions, and we're gonna trade most of our portfolio on blue chip stocks and on the stock that we believe is gonna go up based on macroeconomic decisions. And you will see, in terms of an annualized return, it will be much better. You guys are typing stuff up on the Patreon chat, which is funny. Damn. I think we're gonna close this. I'll close this around 10, so you guys should ask questions right now. I'll give you like 2 or 3 minutes to type it up and stuff. And then ask questions, anything you guys really want to know about, like any rumors you guys have, any information you guys want to talk about, or anything really. Or just talk about life in general. If you do, ask them away, and I'll answer those, because the earning hype is gonna stop by the end of next week. So just be careful, right? Had your position a little bit too. I think some of you want to know about my stand on Boyle. $60, I think, yeah, $60 I said it's gonna get short squeeze, which it's not really happening right now. But if oil stabilizes trading flat, there's gonna be huge movement on Boyle. And a lot of you are asking whether it's a good idea to enter a option position. Not really, because they trade it on monthly. So you want to find an alternative. Extra credit for those of you who find an alternative. I'll post the alternative later on Patreon. But for those of you who want extra credit, just my extra credit points for you guys. Find an alternative of Boyle for me that's more profitable in terms of a option position. Hint: it's also an ETF. Not really an ETF though. PayPal wants the data about transactions, all the financial dealings of its consumers, because they can take that data and give it to other merchants to help them ultimately better sell products. And well, the thing about PayPal is they have financial data. They have transaction data, right? Like they have financial data. So why would they? So the question for you is to figure out why they want Pinterest. There are other platforms that he can buy, but why Pinterest? Why? You have to think about why. Why there's synergy there? Why? Again, PayPal CFO is pretty smart person, right? Why? You have to figure out why. When you figure out why, you figure out the value of it. And when you figure out the value of it, after we also form our share price analysis, we can start buying call options. But again, like those buyout deals, it doesn't happen overnight unless they reached a deal yesterday, but it takes the due diligence process for a buyout deal is very long, and also like Pinterest have to agree with the buyout deal too. So it's gonna take like a month at least like 2 weeks. So today FOMO'd too quick and made it that it makes the, which is interesting is today's trading dynamic also plays into the buyout scenario, because volatility actually matters in terms of a buyout deal. But anyways, we can talk about this way more if you guys have more questions. Ask me other questions. Do you have any questions? If you know, we're just gonna end stream right now. And yeah, figure out a synergy. Good mental exercise for you guys. I will make a channel on Patreon so you guys can place your votes on extending the $10 viewership, $10 membership, because I know a lot of you want more people in there. I do like diverse opinions. I really prefer that. I just don't like toxic people. And one of the reasons that I don't really want to extend $10 things is, at first I thought there might be like some toxic people coming in, but again in a month sometimes they just like exit and stuff. You know, we like the monthly rotation situation, and I think by staying on YouTube for a longer period of time, by posting different dynamic content, there's gonna be more and more people sub to our channel. LA Auto Show on FSR. I mean, our entry point is like, I don't know, like $12, $11. We're just gonna do long-term investment. But if you want to patch a long-term investment with some like, you know, short-term option plays and stuff, it should reach $15 in no time if the EV transition is going smoothly. And if you look at the chart, if we're not getting overtly ambitious, what really is going to happen is by November, like remember they have Ocean Series coming out, right? They're going to talk about it in the next earning calls and stuff. One of those bullish things that you need to think about is this is reaction to big EV bets. This is reaction to Ocean. And if you take an average, what you really are looking for is you want to break out to this line, right? Which just happens to be $15. So if you break out to $15, one of those days in November, when there are big news coming out in aftermarket, we might even see a $17. Okay? But by end of the year, I'm not sure really, because there's some bubble going on in the EV market. People are overtly ambitious on EV. Let me add some BBIG call options just for shits and giggles. Again, BBIG play, it's hugely speculative, and maybe it might or might not, you know, make any profit, or you might make a huge profit if happens that, damn, my Ford option just made 400% on a day. Anyways, that's never mind. It's just some of the things that I think is really cheap yesterday, so I bought some. So, anyways, that's just another story for another day. And people were getting a little bit nervous about this huge rally, but it's not over yet. Not really over yet. We really need to see how the Tesla earning goes, and after we see the Tesla earning, we will know what really is gonna happen. What is going on? The Virgin Galactic play also paid off a little bit, which is interesting. Let's see. Sorry, I gotta do something real quick. I'm trying to load up some quarterly options. Sorry. Oh, where were we? Option extend. I'll hold it for one more day, actually. Let's see. Yeah, longer time options, your thing's actually protected, but interesting. Let me see the BBIG thing. So basically, what you really want is you really want to buy it at 669, which let's see if this happens or not. BBIG. Or try for also what's your project? Oh, I've already talked about that. New entry for BBIG at 6 and try for lower. On for those of you who already take profit on your short-term $7 call options, I mean it's great. And then I just think you can flip it. You can just flip it over and over again with the BBIG, like this volatility situation going on with BBIG. Yeah, that's about it. It's just like it's like super volatile at this point, and when it's super volatile, it's nice. It's always nice to see a volatile movement like that, and you sort of profit off of that when it's very volatile like that. Fascinating. And I also got some other really good plays that I got for you guys. And also one of those things we need to think about is we should like let's see. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I'm trying to place a really good bid offer for BBIG, but I think it's a little bit too late because it goes down to 669 for like 2 seconds, and then now it just gets a little bit more volatile at this point. Damn, bro. Stop! Oh, stop. Alright. What's up, Ian? IDEX? What the fuck is IDEX? What is this thing? Penny stock? Damn, bro, you love penny stocks. Does it trade options? What? Okay, pitch me. Why is it so good? Pitch me. Why should I buy IDEX? Is this one of those things where like you just bait me for looking at a ticker? Interesting. Whoa, interesting. Very interesting. But the time horizon is too much though. Interesting. People are buying safety calls? How much are those safety calls? Wait a second. What do they even do? Can someone just pop on chat and tell me what they did do? Yeah, what the heck did they even do? Super cheap. You can't just say it's super cheap. Yeah, dude, we hate. Yeah, penny stocks are like dumb because they leverage too much of their debt. You know what? I'll go do some research on this one. Maybe it's just it's fucking $30. Got some like $30 plays and just be done with it. Support a fellow gambler. Pitch me. Fastlane. Pitch me the stock on Discord. I know you're gonna do that, alright? Because you really want our attention and stuff. All right, I'm gonna end stream right now. The chat is gonna keep running for another 5 minutes. Ideanomics. Yeah, I need more than that. Give me a 30-second elevator pitch. I will just inform this morning. This is like buying AEI, but you don't understand what really is going on. I mean, sure, in terms of like the chart, it looks like, in terms of, I mean, again, confirmation bias. The chart is going, you think it's gonna go this and do that, right? Or you can do like that, and then you don't know what's gonna happen. Like your confirmation bias is like, okay, this is your confirmation bias in your brain right now. You're like, okay, this is gonna happen like this, and it's gonna go up like this, and then boom, it's gonna look like this, right? Would it happen? Maybe. What is gonna be the most likely better entry point? Probably tomorrow or by the end of today, and see what happens. Again, penny stocks. You have a 5% movement on a penny stock like this. For investors, it's already really volatile. You need to find a reason to get into those penny stock things. You're like, oh my god, I love 100% increase. Sure, like you will make money, but the thing is, if you enter small positions, it's a $30 per contract basically, right? Because it's 0.3 for, one contract, and then you do 100 shares. And a 100% increase to $4, this will probably go to like, I don't know, 2x with leverage, like $200. Sure, it's great, but how many shares are you gonna buy initially was huge risk. But think about it. But if you go and buy, let's just say Apple options, you know that, hey, I know that risk is well defined within range of up and down 5%. That means your significant leverage will be lower, but you will make more consistent return. Does that make sense? This is the reason why like seasoned investors don't like penny stocks. You're welcome, Charles. Love you too. All right, this is it for this video, for the stream. I will leave the chat on for a little bit more, and you guys can. I think you guys can look at the replay.